Shalom, all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rahadash. Peace, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives, freedom to do so that more so than ever. May the calling of election be upon your house, the land of the thief and the home of the slave. The land of the thief and the home of the slave. You know, I was just touching on, I wanted to do a lesson on how this place is a pit. All right, it talks about that in Isaiah 51, how the captive exile hastened that he should be loose and that he should not die in the pit. In America, Babylon the Great is a pit. You know, a lot of people, they try to like sensationalize this place to be this freedom, uh, this free place, but it's really nothing but oppression when it comes down to it. You know, you working every day or you working your job to maintain your living, you know what I'm saying, in this place. You know, it's all captivity at the end of the day. It's all just slavery, you know, because I was just posted up, parked. Um, and There's different places in Babylon the Great. Like, it's so many rules in America. Like, people that live in other countries, I'm sure they have rules, but there's not rules like there's rules in America. Like, as far as like the laws and stuff, you know, I be driving these trucks. I be posted up, and I say, all you do is see Esau trying to trap you. All right, so that he could take you down to his prison, so he could write you a ticket, so you could end up owing. You know, it's basically just a place full of snares and traps. All right, that's why the scripture says, "Be careful where thou goest, for thou dwellest in the shadow of thy overthrowing." All right. As a matter of fact, I want to see if I can grab that scripture. Shadow of thy overthrowing. Sirach chapter 13 and 13. Sirach 13 and 13. It says, "Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing. When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep." And that's exactly what it was, because I had set up to park, get a couple hours of rest. But the place that I was parked at didn't have unlimited parking. It's like you do your business there, and then you leave. Like, there's a couple of different places like that. It's like no overnight stuff. Like, you do your business there and leave. Um, and I set my alarm for like 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And as soon as I set my alarm for 12 o'clock, I tried to lay back down to sleep. And Esau, his garrison that he has just patrolling around, making sure that everything's in order, according to his system, you know what I'm saying? Telling me where I can and can't be. We're not harming anybody. We're just not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? We're just according to their law, we just can't, or whatever their rules are, of the business that they have there. We just can't be there. And I was feeling that, because I was walking around, and I was trying to make it across to the other side of the highway. You can't walk across the damn highway, and they got all of these little things behind the highway where it's like, oh, private property, no trespassing, just basically it's like, unless you on the main street, you can't really go nowhere, and then when you're on the main street, you can't really go nowhere, because it's like, unless you got like business there, like you employed by that building, or unless it's a place that unless you got money, what I'm saying, where you're gonna spend money in a business or something like that, or that hotel. Pretty much, if you're a poor man or if you're a broke man, you have nothing. There's nothing that you can do. And I learned this some years ago about how everything shuts down in Babylon, and like after a certain time, everything closes. So then you what? You won't have access to the market. You won't have access to the food. You won't have access to the water, the drinks. So what? You have to buy your things. You have to buy your things and stock up and get bread, unless you're at a place that's like 24/7. But a lot of places are not 24/7. People go home and go to sleep. But the whole idea that I'm trying to make is we should be living within our own sovereignty, not have to go to these people for every little thing that we need, and to engage in their economy. It's like you have to everything in America has a pay stamp. You have to pay to play. That's the thing about America. It's like it's an extortion at every stop. You got to pay in order to take part in this country. And like I said, it's very draconian because so many rules and laws. I constantly see police interactions, people getting guns pulled on them, escalation. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not stuff that I'm making up. This is a bitter place. America goes back to the word mer, which means bitterness. And this place is indeed very bitter because, like I said, just the other day I was in Illinois and I was parked up or whatever. And it's like, oh, you got a 2 hour limit to park there or whatever, you know. And I'm like, damn, let me just get out of here. Let me just get out of here before somebody says something to me like, bothers me about this shit. Let me just get out of here. But it's like you can't even go nowhere. Like, too many places, it's like, oh, you can't park here, you can't be here, you can't do nothing. And but it's not gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? When we get the kingdom, it's gonna be like that for these Edomites for sure. They're not gonna be able to be certain places, and we're gonna be regulating their movement and their traffic, which that's really all it's about. Them trying to maintain that image of order, that order. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like shit is nonsense. Man. All that shit is nonsense. So it's an oppressing ass place. But I'm gonna go back. Sirach 13, and Sirach chapter 13, because it's like police interactions in this place. People, it's always some type of escalation. Like I said, they got pistols, but then they want you to have, they don't want you to be able to bear arms, right? You're supposed to have the right to bear arms, protect yourself. You can't protect yourself. They can kill you with impunity. When I say with impunity, it means that they can kill you without dealing with any effects or harm. That's pretty much the law, like in America. A cop will just get off with killing you. Like, oh, I thought he had a gun. Well, you knocked on my truck. You were sleeping somewhere that you weren't supposed to be. You couldn't sleep there. And then when I knocked on the truck to tell you to move, I thought I saw a gun. That's the spirit of this place, the valley of the shadow of death. At any point in time, you can get taken up. You know what I'm saying? Back to the spirit realm. Over just because Esau is a bloodthirsty hunter out here looking for people to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? He literally sits there with his speedometer, seeing who he could pull over for a traffic stop. And a routine traffic stop can turn into a whole nother thing. That's what he's hoping for. Like, that he could get a real criminal, or turn the shit into, oh shit, look at this, you know. He's out there fishing and looking for shit. But I had a mind to already leave anyway, so I didn't really care. But anyways, this is Sirach chapter 13, verse 9. It says, "If thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself. So much the more will he invite thee." That's right. And a lot of those guys, they went back to sleep or whatever. I got the fuck. I fucking freaked out. I got the fuck up out of it. It says, press thou not upon him, lest thou be put back. Stand not afar off, lest thou be forgotten. Affect not to be made equal unto him in talk. Yeah, so I don't be trying to do all that shit like, oh, I love court cases, I love battles. A lot of these cops are terrified of citizens anyways, because the way that these cameras, they be getting caught, you get in trouble and doing shit. They do it with this. A lot of them still do a lot of illegal shit. Don't give a fuck. It says, affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words, for with much communication he will tempt thee, and smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets, right? But cruelly he will lay up thy words, and will not spare to do thee hurt, and to put thee in prison. See? So it's an oppressive place. It's like the home of the thief, the land of the slave. It's like they want to keep these prisons full of Jake. They out there hunting, looking for niggas and shit. When it comes to Esau and these other nations, they don't really be doing shit. They don't care. It says, observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in the peril of thy overthrowing. When thou hearest these same things, awake in thy sleep. That's right. So this is not our rest. It's not our rest. It's not the place where Jake can like really, put his hat down, so to speak. Like really, you're always in a constant spirit of observation, and like even yesterday, when I had posted up at the Planet Fitness to go shower or do a little bit of fitness, there's a bunch of signs and shit, oh, no parking, no parking, no parking. All I'm trying to do is just go get clean, man. They got all these signs saying they'll put mad fire hydrants in place they don't even need to be. You know what I mean? Because you can't park next to a fire hydrant, of course, right? Just a whole bunch of shit. And like basically, like nothing is never easy. It's never like it's not a lot of places in Babylon the Great that's designated for you to be. I'm saying, especially as a driver of these trucks, it's mostly for like cars. They don't bother cars. They wouldn't bother the car. But if it is a truck, they want to bother a truck. You know what I'm saying, and shit like that. So, or like somebody that don't even have a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you deal with a lot of that stuff. Like, he says, among these nations thou shalt have no ease. Even like getting around and shit, like that shit don't be. It's always these devils out here with their cops and their patrols, and they want to make you a part of their. They want to make a quota. You know what I'm saying? Give you a ticket or some shit like that. So it's very the police presence in America is very predatory in that way, and that ain't nothing but a fucking pit. A pit is a trap, like a sunken place, a low ass land. Everything's low vibration. It's a place where everybody's trying to fuck you over, trap you up, misuse you, mistreat you, underpay you, swindle you. You know what I'm saying? It's a place for tricks for the tricks where the trickster wins. You know, the man who can set the most traps. You know, cause you to go into too many pitfalls. Oh, it's like it's a vibe. But yeah, this is an oppressing ass place, and it sucks right now, but it's only gonna get worse than this. It's not gonna get any. It's not gonna become any better. You know, the best days of Babylon the Great are behind. I was meditating on that last night. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 6. And evil, and end is come. The end is come. And watch for thee, behold, it is come. You know, only thing that's coming to this place is the end. You know, we're in the end game. So let me see how I get up. 4th Street. Yeah, it's lucky, but yeah, I pretty much close out the lesson with that. All right, shalom.